Whether you play the acoustic or electric guitar, you will find this maintenance kit to be very useful in taking care of your instrument. The use and care pamphlet included in this kit contains a great deal of useful information. Be sure to read it thoroughly. The chord and scale chart included in this kit is designed to get you started with some common chords and scales that are used by beginner and professional alike. There is a 5-minute background track to help you practice your scales and to learn to play and improvise with other musicians. Now let's begin by tuning your guitar. You will hear each note played 4 times. Tune each string to match the note that you hear. We will begin with the first string, or the E. That's the thinnest one on your guitar. This is how the E, or first string, sounds. This is how the B, or second string, sounds. This is how the G, or third string, sounds. This is how the D, or fourth string, sounds. This is how the A, or fifth string, sounds. This is how the E, or sixth string, sounds. Since your guitar strings will stretch as you tune, you will need to repeat this process 3 or 4 times possibly. Repeat the tuning process until your strings are completely in tune. Now that you're in tune, let's learn some basic chords. Look at your basic chord chart sheet. The numbers on the lines are the finger numbers of your left hand. The numbers under the chords are the string numbers. The numbers to the left of the chords are the fret numbers. Be careful as you play the notes to play on your fingertips so that your fingers do not touch the other strings. These are the basic major chords. This is how the A major chord should sound. This is how the B major chord should sound. This is how the C major chord should sound. This is how the D major chord should sound. This is how the E major chord should sound. This is how the F major chord should sound. This is how the G major chord should sound. These are the chords. This is how the A minor chord should sound. This is how the B minor chord should sound. This is how the C minor chord should sound. This is how the D minor chord should sound. This is how the E minor chord should sound. This is how the F minor chord should sound. This is how the G minor chord should sound. These are the 7th chord, major. This is how the A 7th chord should sound. This is how the B 7th chord should sound. This is how the C 7th chord should sound. This is how the D 7th chord should sound. This is how the E 7th chord should sound. This is how the F 7th chord should sound. This is how the G 7th chord should sound. Now let's learn some bar chords. Bar chords are important to the guitar player because they enable you to play the guitar chords the entire length of the fretboard, making it possible to play in any key while adding variety and speed to your playing. The following bar chords are all in the key of G. Once you have learned these positions, you can play them anywhere on the fretboard and transpose to play in all the different keys. Bar chords are harder to play than basic chords, but don't give up. Remember, all the great guitarists started out just like you. The only difference between you and them is practice. The more you practice, the faster you will reach your goals. When playing any chord, it's important that you hear all of the notes clearly. Since everyone's hands are different, each person's hand and finger position will be slightly different also. Here are 4 rules to remember that will help you play your chords more efficiently and clearly. First, play on your fingertips. Second, keep your thumb on the back of the neck of your guitar. Third, bend your wrist. Fourth, press down on the strings until each note is clear. If the note sounds fuzzy, you are either not pressing hard enough, or one of your fingers is touching a string that it shouldn't be touching, or the finger is too close to the fret. If so, move the finger away from the fret until the note sounds clear. As you play each chord, strum across all of the strings unless you see an X on a string. X on a string means don't play that string. If you see a 0 or an O on a string, That means that string is played open. Go ahead and play that string. Now let's play some bar chords. These are the major bar chords. This is the first position, G major. It is played on the 3rd fret. This is the second position, G major. It is played on the 7th fret. This is the third position, G major. It is played on the 10th fret. Now let's try the minor chords. This is the first position, G minor. It is played on the 3rd fret. The second position, G minor, is rarely played, so we will skip that one and go on to the 3rd. This is the 3rd position, G minor chord. It's played on the 10th fret. Now we're ready to try some 7th chords. This is the first position, G 7th chord. It's played on the 3rd fret. Once again, the second position is rarely played, so we'll go on to the 3rd position. This is the 3rd position, G 7th chord, and it's played on the 10th fret. Another important part of your playing is to be acquainted with the scales. So let's learn a few of the basic scales. These scales are all in the key of G. We are learning scales in the key of G. These scales can be transposed in the same manner as the chords. The numbers on the strings are the numbers of the fingers on the left hand. Start by playing the notes one at a time, from the lowest note to the highest, beginning on the 6th string and ending on the 1st string. Now reverse, and beginning with the highest note, play down the scale from the highest note to the lowest note, starting on the 1st string and ending on the 6th string. Alternate your picking as you play, by picking down on the 1st note, up on the 2nd note, down on the 3rd note, and up on the 4th note, and so on. Use alternating picking as much as possible, as it will increase your speed and accuracy. We will begin by playing the major scale. The G major scale starts on the 6th string, 3rd fret, using the 1st finger. Check your scale diagram. The scale should sound like this. Now let's play the minor scale. The minor scale also begins on the 6th string, 3rd fret, using the 1st finger. Again, check your scale diagram. The minor scale sounds like this. The pentatonic minor scale is one of the most commonly used scales in today's music. So we have included all 5 positions of the pentatonic minor on this. We will begin with the first position, minor pentatonic. It begins on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and it sounds like this. The second position of the minor pentatonic begins on the 6th fret of the 6th string, and it sounds like this. The third position of the minor pentatonic begins on the 6th string on the 8th fret, and it sounds like this. The fourth position of the minor pentatonic begins on the 10th fret, 6th string, and it sounds like this. The fifth position of the minor pentatonic scale begins on the 6th string on the 13th fret, and it sounds like this. The next scale we will learn is called the blues scale. The blues scale first position will begin on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and it sounds like this. The second position of the blues scale begins on the 10th fret of the 5th string, and it sounds like this. We have assembled the information on this. To continue to develop your musical skills, we suggest that you take private or class lessons from a good teacher. Contact the experts at the music store where you purchase this maintenance kit. They will be happy to assist you in finding a good teacher, selecting proper books, choosing the right instrument and accessories, and servicing your instrument if it needs service. The guitar is a wonderful instrument. Practice every day and learn to play it well.